Hey everyone, welcome to another video here on this Esoteric Circle YouTube channel. I'm Pete Haskins. Glad that you're with me. I hope you are well, my friend, and wherever you are at on this journey of awakening, I hope that you are blessed and that you are at a good place in your life. This is a great time to be alive. Don't make any mistake about that at all. Don't be discouraged. Just know that this is a time that we need to bind together and awaken each one of us to what is really happening around us. We need to make sure that we are waking up in this world of darkness. Wake up. I want to talk a little bit on this video today from the Gospel of John, still talking about John here as it pertains to some of the Gnostic ideas, in particular the Valentinian ideas. Valentinus was one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Gnostic teacher, the only one to have actually disciples named after him. And he was born in Alexandria in the first part of the 2nd century. And really was a leader in the church in Rome between 140, 150, and 160, and really became a point of envy and anger from Irenaeus and some of these guys that just hated the Gnostics for their mythology and for their vantage point on the origins of evil, and just a lot of issues that they did not like the Gnostics, these Christian Gnostics. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. I want to focus on this one section from John chapter 7, verses 14. We're going to read all the way through 24. This is entitled, Jesus Teaches at the Feast. Not until halfway through the feast did Jesus go up to the temple courts and begin to teach. The Jews were amazed and asked, "How did this man get such learning without having studied?" Jesus answered, "My teaching is not my own. It comes from him who sent me. If anyone chooses to do God's will, he will find out whether my teaching comes from God or whether I speak on my own. He who speaks on his own does so to gain honor for himself, but he who works for the honor of the one who has sent him is a man of truth. There is nothing false about him. Has not Moses given you the law? Yet not one of you keeps the law. Why are you trying to kill me?" "You are demon-possessed," the crowd answered. "Who is trying to kill you?" Jesus said to them, "I did one miracle, and you are all astonished. Yet because Moses gave you circumcision, though actually it did not come from Moses, but from the patriarchs, you circumcise a child on the Sabbath. Now, if a child can be circumcised on the Sabbath so that the law of Moses may not be broken, why are you angry with me for healing the whole man on the Sabbath?" And here's the section we're going to talk about. Jesus says, "Stop judging by mere appearances and make a right judgment." Bam! I want to read to you a passage from Genesis chapter 2, verses 16 and 17. "And the Lord God commanded the man, 'You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for when you eat of it, you will surely die.'" So this is one of the huge differences between traditional Christians and Gnostic Christians. Now let me read to you a passage from the Gospel of Truth, which is a Nag Hammadi document, and it is a Valentinian sermon of hope, basically. And let me just read this passage right after that Genesis passage. "He was nailed to a tree," meaning Christ. "He became a fruit of the knowledge of the Father. He did not, however, destroy them because they ate of it. He rather caused those who ate of it to be joyful because of this discovery." So this is one of the key pivots, the key turning points for why Irenaeus and the early church fathers despised the Gnostics, because this discovery of knowledge, by far, far be it that the discovery of knowledge would be something that would be a sin. This discovery of knowledge is this discovery of a salvation. So each individual person is finding this enlightenment within themselves, and this what's called the fog of error and terror is gone. So to know, to have this knowledge, not just the intellectual knowledge, but this spiritual knowledge that we have, it signifies this end of the nightmare of the darkness that we are in, and for this dawning of an eternal, glorious, salvific day. And that's the essence of Gnosis. It is this word of knowledge actually redeems us instead of killing us. And this is one of the reasons why I am so attracted to these teachings. And it's one of the things that I'm really interested in, especially the gospel of truth. And it is an amazing revelation to realize that each one of us has the potential to discover this awakening that Christ had. We have the potential to discover this wholeness, discover this unity. And we have to be vigilant all the time at discovering this knowledge that is here awaiting for us. And this passage that we were talking about here in John, let's get back to that here real quick. This passage here, it ends by this. Jesus says to them, "Stop judging by mere appearances and make a right judgment." Now, this discovery of knowledge, this discovery of this knowledge of God all around us, in our own psyches, our own minds, is a matter of what in the Greek diakrisis, the discernment that each one of us has to make, and Christ extols them. Stop judging by appearances and make a right judgment. It's one of the things I love about the Fourth Way teaching, is it is all about being able to get past the fog, get past the slumber that we are under, get past all of this sense of just following along and awakening to this knowledge of God that is already within us. And this is the essence of Gnostic thought, that each one of us has this, and each one of us has to awaken. And Christ is the one who came and said, snap out of it. Let me read to you just a couple passages here from the Gospel of Truth. This idea of the return of the awakened one is described in this just beautiful poetry. Until the moment when they who are passing through all these things awaken, they see nothing because the dreams were nothing. It is thus that they who cast ignorance from them like sheep do not consider it to be anything, nor regard its properties to be something real, but they renounce them like a dream in the night, and they consider the knowledge of the Father to be the dawn. It is thus that each has acted as if asleep during the time of ignorance, and thus a person comes to understand as if awakening. And happy is one who comes to himself and awakens. Indeed, blessings on one who has opened the eyes of the blind. The Son comes, Christ comes to awaken us to the presence of the Father that is steady and still and never changing. And this presence of God is joyous and sweet, and it gives us peace, and it gives us wholeness and harmony and radiance. And we are within a sense, an act, a piece of art that God has created. Because when we find this knowledge, this, as Aquinas would say, a piece of art is wholeness, harmony, and radiance. That's what we become. We become whole and harmonious, and then we become radiant. And that is one of the sweetest ways of putting this, is that this knowledge of God within us awakens us to the fact that now we can become whole. The gospel of truth is this sermon of hope, and it's absolutely beautiful. I'll just end with this. What then is that which he wants such a one to think? I am like the shadows and phantoms of the night. When morning comes, this one knows that the fear that had been experienced was nothing. This darkness that we are under, and this experience of this isolation and this terror that we are under here on this earth, that the Gnostics describe, that Christ comes to awaken us to, which we must escape and follow his lead. The gospel of truth says it's nothing, because God is so sweet. God is loving. And this is one of the things that differentiates us from the existentialists of our age. The existentialists say that there is an indifferent darkness out there. But the Gnostics say that that darkness, there's an end to it. There's a sweetness to it, because God is on the other end of that. And we just need to awaken out of this sleep and then escape from this. We have to cling to that sense that there is that sweetness, that peace that passes all understanding, and that Christ comes to awaken us. Christ being the most important one here. We have to do our part, and we have to awaken, and we must escape. And that is the essence of Gnostic Christianity. And that's one of the things that we need more of in our traditional Christian doctrine. The sense that we need to awaken. We need to awaken to the fact that we have that essence within us. We have that essence. And all we have to do is awaken.